we integrate with Google Calendar and iCal. So depending on if you would like to have every appointment that you put into your Notary Assist go to your Google Calendar or your iCal, you can easily set up the push from Notary Assist to Google Calendar. And what's nice about Google is Google will turn it on anywhere you have that Google Calendar showing up. So if you are an Apple iPhone user, but you have a Gmail email and you choose to push your Notary Assist appointments to your Google Calendar, if you have that email address and the calendar turned on your iPhone, Notary Assist will push all that information directly to your iPhone calendar as well.
So you
So
never
now
miss
that
appointments.
exactly. It keeps you up to date because what I like the most about this feature, and this was a big thing for me, I'm a calendar woman. I live and die by my calendar, and I have I want to have them everywhere. So I forever was double booking myself when I first got started, whether it was picking up the kids from school or getting them to practice. But I always wanted to say yes when somebody was calling me to do a notarial job. So inevitably, I was double booking myself. And then the stress about trying to get where I needed to be was just crushing me. So I wanted to make sure that I had a way to be able to see everything on my one phone or in that one calendar. And by using Google Calendar, it really helped me. So now I can see I have carpool on Tuesdays at 2. And so if I'm taking an assignment, I want to make sure that appointment is after 2:30 so I don't double book myself, because I'm not going to put my personal appointments inside of Notary Assist, but I'm going to have my personal appointments in my calendar on my phone. So that helps me stay organized without conflict and very professional. So that's a huge help.
That also means you don't have to have Notary Assist open all the time.
Correct.
And remembering your calendar, you can use your phone or your Android, right, to make sure
Correct.
that you're all set. That's great.
Correct. Now, if you do want to have it open all the time, I would have it open on my mobile app, which is super cool because we have mobile apps for both Apple and Android. And so a lot of users do have Notary Assist open all the time in the background so they can quickly get there. But they don't always, if you're in your mobile app, that's going to be all of your Notary Assist appointments. It may not have all of your personal appointments. So just double check your personal calendar as well. And you just go through a few quick questions. Google, this is pretty quick. You just allow access. It will ask you what type of account you want. So it really just helps you get right back to, let me get back there. Okay. It helps you get right back to Notary Assist once you're done connecting it. Google just is going to ask you if you authorize it to do what you need. And then we are going to go into, well, iCal does the same thing. So if you're an iCal person, you can do the exact same thing. I will say Google allows more information from Notary Assist to push through, whereas iCal does not. iCal and Apple just has a little bit more restrictions on how much information we can push to your iCal calendar, and it's not automatic. It will send you an email that you have to accept, and then it will go to your iCal. So there's another step involved. So just FYI, the differences between the two. And if you have any questions, you can either ask us or you can ask the Apple Store to give you that more information. But we do comply with both Google Calendar and iCal.
Thanks.
Tracking is super fun. I love this one because we gave you some of the most popular shipping companies. Now, this is going to come into play for loan signings, but also apostille work. Anytime you're shipping documents to a client and you might want to see where those documents are. You might be using FedEx, DHL. You can always add a new company. For example, California has a company that ships within California. It's called California Overnight. You might be able to do something like that in your state. There might be something like Florida Overnight or something like that. That's specific to. So back to the tracking. So this is where you can actually, tracking comes in really well for loan signings, apostilles, or any documents that you might need to ship and keep track of where they might be. Notary Assist has pre-populated the top ones. I would say On Track is one that we added after the fact that Jane added. So you can add any shipping company that you might need. If you have something like a California overnight or something that's specific to an in-state shipper, you can add your in-state shipper by just clicking add new company. And I'm even going to show you, like, you can add just by typing in the box and then just putting in their website. You can copy the website and then paste it in here. Or if you know the URL, you can do the whole URL as you wish, and then just add it to the list. What's also nice is that Notary Assist will make the tracking number trackable. So it's a link, it's a clickable link that will go to each one of these websites and track that package for you. So now you can see exactly where your package is at any given time. I also use this feature inside of tracking. Maybe you returned your documents to escrow. Sometimes you don't ship them because they need the packet back ASAP. Now you can put a list of things that you might have done with the documents. If you're doing general notary work, you probably left it with the client. You probably didn't take the document outside the location where you met. So you left those documents with the client, but you can also say that I returned them to escrow, or I returned them to the attorney who asked me to get the documents signed for me. By adding these and hitting save, Notary Assist is building out a drop-down list that I'll show you in just a second. So it lets you remember what you did with those documents. Did you ship them? How did you ship them? If you left them with the client, or did you return them somewhere else? So now you have a way of making a note for each appointment that you're adding, so that now you have a resource to help you remember if there's a question about a particular signing.
Wonderful.
So that's the tracking. And then the final one in settings is invoicing. Now, invoicing could come into play if you're, depending upon who you're working with. If you're working with the general public, you may not need to use invoicing very often, but we do give you the ability to create one should you need it. Notary Assist will generate a basic invoice template for you. We will automatically fill this information out based on the application or the registration questions that you used when you signed up. So the information will be pulled from the registration intake form that you filled out when you registered for the free trial. You can always expand this information. We let you actually return. So if you wanted to put more information, you could in the from address. So I always recommend that you add an email address and a phone number in case the recipient has any questions about your invoice. We by default give you a return address, but you might want to also put an email address and a phone number so that you can, if your recipient has questions, they can contact you easily by just looking at this one document.
Right. Yeah, this is a great feature for Notary2Pro grads, because most of our folks are doing loan signings and are required to submit an invoice typically. So
Exactly. And they want to have a way to grab it right from your fingertips. And if they have any questions, having your information right here in the from address line looks really nice right up by your logo. If you decide to upload a logo, you can upload your logo, and your remit to information is all right here. That's what this is right here, is the remit to information. Now, some notaries will start their drive from this location that they registered with, but they might get paid at a PO box. So you can always come in here and edit this address right here to wherever you want to receive payments to. Some clients will send you an e-check, so you don't have to worry about receiving anything anywhere other than your bank. But just know that you can customize this address wherever you want to receive your payments. So we give you the flexibility to do that. Default notes, if you wanted to say something as simple as thank you for your business, or it was a pleasure to work with you, or if you have a slogan like have bag will travel, you can put that anywhere in the default notes, and it will be centered and placed on your invoice on every invoice that you generate.
Mhm. Nice.
Notary Assist will ask you what your next invoice number is so that it can begin counting and creating an invoice tracking number system for you automatically. So if you've been using a receipt book, for example, for the last year and your last invoice that you wrote was 1114, Notary Assist will begin that next invoice with 1115.
Perfect.
We do generate for all invoices that you generate in Notary Assist, if you need to generate one, we give a cover letter automatically with that invoice. And we just basically say, hi, I'm Jane Notary. My email is this. The subject is going to be the invoice number and the last name of the signer. Please attached find the invoice lot for my signer that I did on this day. Now you can always add a really nice customized, it was a pleasure to work with you and your company. I look forward to serving you again soon in the future. You can add whatever you like. And this is a traditional mail merge information. If you want to pull information from your appointment, you just have to put it in this format inside of here. See how this has the brackets? You can create like a mail merge, and Notary Assist will pull the right details for that particular invoice. So you can create your own little correspondence with Notary Assist's email template.
Right. And the order number is so critical typically, right? In loan
Exactly.
signings.
Or
So,
signing location, like
mhm,
you might have met at Starbucks, but it's for the property located on 123 Notary Way. So you might
mhm,
have to add that.
mhm.
Layout, you can actually select from professional or classic. They're both they're very similar. Just one has more boxes, one's more free flowing. So it's just personal preference. The same information will be on them. We just give you a couple of different layouts to choose from. A couple of different things that we give you on as far as what we can pull. We can pull the signing type. What type of appointment was it? Was it for a refinance? Was it for a loan modification? Was it for a reverse mortgage? And so on. If you allocate what that appointment was for, we'll put that signing type on the invoice for you.
Mhm.
If you put the loan number on, I know not every notary needs to because the escrow number might be the order number, but if you happen to have the Bank of America number for loan number, you can add it into the signing, but we can also put it onto the invoice for you if you would like us to do so.
Yeah. Now, Sue, just so
Yeah.
our audience is aware of this, what we're still describing here is the setup process, right?
This is just the
These are
setup.
all the settings that we go through one time up front that
Yep.
allows everything else to become automated as you go through this, right?
After the fact. Yep. So
Right.
once you've set this up, all of your invoices will be automatic. It'll
Mhm,
always have, if you turned on signing type, it will always put the signing type on your invoice. No matter what
mhm,
signing type it was, we'll pull that data and put it right onto your invoice for you.
right.
So these are the few things that you take a few minutes setting up so that this is the template that every single invoice is generated on.
Mhm.
So this is the foundation for what your invoices will look like for every time you send it out.
And what's great, in addition to saving this amount of time, because if you think about it, if you spend 10 minutes creating an invoice and drafting an email,
Mhm.
every time you have to invoice someone, that becomes quite an onerous burden. So you're doing this once, it's 10 minutes of your time, it's done. But what I love about it also is we can go back, right?
You
And
can
we say,
always go
oh my
back.
goodness, I don't like the way that sounds anymore, or I want this included. Now we can go back and adjust, and
Right.
it's done for all of the transactions going forward.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm,
It's there for you to have a tool so that you can automate the process moving forward.
mhm.
So once these
Perfect.
tools are set up, everything's automated after that. Now we're moving into what I'm super proud of. This is our newest release. This is the Business Center. This is where Notary Assist separates itself from any other business management software available to the notary community. Our business center is unique. It's new. If you click on the business center, you'll see that you have a business profile and business analytics. This is why we recommend you come here next after you tackle all of your settings. Clicking on business profile, this allows you to see, let me get all the way down. We're kind of scrolled up. There we go. So hopefully you can see that. Let me move. I don't know if my little, there we go. So inside of Notary Assist, you have the ability to tailor and customize exactly what types of services you offer. And Michael already said that most of your students are going to be doing loan signings. So they're going to be looking right here in this loan signing work category. So you can actually say, yes, I am doing loan signings, or no, I'm not. If it's not your business, you can turn it right off. If it is your business, you want to turn it on. And then look at the show suggestions. This is a link. You can click on the link, and we're going to give you a ton of different types of loans that notaries might come into contact with. So we have everything from FHA loans, investment property sales, investment purchases, loan applications, loan modifications, VA loans, seller packets, immigration, or well, sorry, immigration is not supposed to be there, but I'll show you what that's about. So we give
Reverse
you
mortgage. We see that.
reverse
That's
mortgage, exactly.
something that Notary2Pro trains on for its elite students. So,
Exactly. Land purchases, home sales, all sorts of different things. So notaries now have the ability, instead of just putting it all together into one category called general loan signing work, we actually give you the ability to see how many of each one of these are you doing, so that you can make sure that you're prepared for the next wave of what might be happening. So for example, purchases are still doing well because people are still trying to buy homes, but refinances have probably tailored off depending upon because of the market and where interest rates might be. So with refinances maybe going down, we might want to focus on our purchases and being an expert in closing purchases for both VAs and FHAs, because that's a market where we're still seeing a good return. So being able to focus and seeing what is trending in real time helps you focus on what to study and what to focus on, like reverse mortgages as well.
Yeah, and who's directing that business to you? Because that's where you invest your time and effort, right? To secure more work in those categories.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you don't want to get real granular, you don't have to. You can keep it very generic and just keep it very general. I don't really want to know how many of each one I did. I just want to know that I did loan signing work. That's fine. We have that for you too. And you can do so by just toggling on and off any of the ones that work for your business. Okay. You don't work. Maybe you decide I'm going to do all of them. I'm going to click them all on. And then in 6 months, you're like, okay, I don't do any of those. I don't do any of those. I'm going to turn these off. You can turn them on and off as you need, which makes it super helpful. But wait, Sue, I do a specific type of loan that you don't have in here. That's okay. That's why you come up here and you add the type of loan that you might need. So if you click on add type of work, you can select loan signing work because we're talking about loans, and you can add the type of loan that you need. And then you hit add and it will add that specific type of loan. So if I add it here, you're going to see it populate in.
So no limit on the categories for sure.
Correct. It's fully customizable. And there it is right down here. Now you've got your type of loan. And now it says custom instead of system default. Okay. So what this allows you to do over here is, let's say I had two of the same thing. Like maybe I accidentally had loan application twice and I've been putting data into both of them. I don't know which one is the main category, but I don't need them. I don't need two of them. You can actually come in here as long as it's a custom one. you can click on the gear and you can merge it with a system default. So you don't lose your data. It just merges it all into one category. And so now it gives you the ability to not actually have duplicates. So it's a great way to just kind of help keep everything really organized. Don't have duplicates. It keeps it real organized for you. And you can get rid of the duplicates so you don't have to worry about it. System defaults are up here too. And then if you look up top, it says a default fee. Well, with loan signing work, we don't always know what they're willing to pay us to go out. So in Jane's, she's keeping them all blank except reverse mortgages. She knows on average, I'm going to get $200 for every reverse mortgage she does. So she's just putting her system default in there. You're more than welcome to come in here and add any default fee for any service that you offer. You can also put a default duration. So when this comes in handy is a refinance might only take me 25 minutes. I don't want to book out a whole hour of my day for something that only takes 25 minutes so that I can actually book something else. So you can actually let the system know how long it takes you to offer the different services that you offer. If you don't choose a system default, it will default to 1 hour. So Notary Assist will basically say, on average, every loan takes approximately an hour. If you want it to be different than an hour, you're more than welcome to change the duration. More reverse mortgages usually take, Jane, 2 hours because you're working with a different type of client and they might need a little bit of extra time. So you can actually save your defaults and you can even make it minutes too. So you have hours and minutes. So maybe it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. So now you can book your calendar appropriately because some places like Service Link, you might share your Google Calendar with. And if you have a reverse mortgage and you don't book out the entire time that it might take you, Service Link might see a gap and might try to put a signing in there
double book
for
you.
And double book you. So this gives you the flexibility to keep your calendar as optimized as possible so that you can pick up those signings when you need, but also not get double booked when you don't want to get double booked. Now we've taken that same concept and we've done the same thing. If you scroll down for general and specialty notary work. So maybe you do I-9 forms. Maybe you go to jails. Maybe you go to hospitals. Maybe you do adoptions. Maybe you do estate planning documents. So again, we ask you the question, do you do these types of work? And if you don't, that's okay. Just turn it off. If I focus only on loan signing work and I don't do any specialty work, turn it off. Now it'll just, your drop-down boxes are going to be created based on what you offer. If you do offer these different types of services, we give you some suggestions yet again. So now you can see again, all the different categories that you might want for different types of specialty notary work. Certifications of trust, copy certifications, I-9s. Now, different states allow different notarial acts. So we tried to get a really broad suggestion list for you. But again, if you don't see something in here that you offer, you just add the type of work that you need. And you can customize your list based on your state and what you choose to offer. And then here again, I wanted to have this set up. So here, this says adoption documents, but I'm 90% sure Jane has adoptions up here as well. She does. So see up here, it's part of the system defaults. So we can turn this on and then we can come down here to adoption documents. Now we don't need to have two of the same thing. This is how I was showing you how easily it is to just consolidate, but keep all your data in one place. You're going to click the gear. You're going to hit merge with system default. And you're going to select, it's going to be specialty work. Oops. Oh, I hadn't turned it on yet. I haven't turned it on. Sorry. I got all excited. You have to actually hit save. So we had to hit save. Now that we've got it saved, I can come in here and click the gear. Oh, that's other. Let me go up here. Now you see that there's 2 adoptions. So there's adoption 1 and adoption 2. So I can come in here, I can merge with system default. I can select what I want to merge it with because it's already got my adoptions up here. I want to merge it with adoptions here and merge. And now there's just one, but all the data associated in my database, if I had accidentally put data in both, now they're consolidated into one.
Yep.
So now you don't have to have duplicates.
Mhm.
And then down below, we have other. Now, what's other, Sue? Other types of work are things that you might do with that are outside of the notary certification or commission. Like maybe you're a mentor, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a process server, maybe you do fingerprinting, maybe you do apostilles, maybe you're a realtor and you sold a property. So you can actually add anything that you might do. We also show suggestions. Again, we have a list of things like field inspections, exam proctors, tutors. These are things that we've been gathering over our 22+ decades of servicing notaries, of different things that notaries are tracking in their NotaryAssist account. So we're giving you the ability to now track this, but we're going one step further. Everything in other is going to be a separate income, expense, and mileage report so that you can truly keep all of your income for your notary work separated out away from any other service that you offer. This is going to make your tax professional super happy because now you don't have to just give one income report for every dime you've made. Now it's going to be allocated to notary work and any others that you have. So this list of other that we have created for Jane, each one of them is a separate revenue, expense, and mileage report. So you can actually see how much she's making as a rideshare driver, as a process server, as a coach, mentor, and how much she makes in her notary business.
We know how entrepreneurial notaries are, right? So there's
Exactly.
all kinds of things that folks are doing to
Exactly.
to expand their business. So this is great. I wouldn't be
And
surprised if there were pool maintenance as part of the
right?
yeah,
Well, exactly. And handyman,
especially
well,
in Arizona. So
no
right.
kidding. Well, that's why one of the things up here I showed right here in the
Mm-hmm.
very top of the packet, it says I think I have handyman. Yep, handyman. Look,
Mm-hmm.
I had a notary and now it's stuck in loan signing work, but we're going to actually move the gear and we're going to move it to other because it's not really in the right
Doesn't fit.
category. So we're going to take it out of my loan signing work and we're going to actually drop it in to our other types of work so that that revenue stream can be pulled away from notary work. So now now Jane is in compliance, not only with her notary work, but also her other revenue streams. Ta-da! So
Perfect.
why did we go through this trouble, Sue, of doing all this setup? Well, now I'm going to show you the business analytics. And the reason we did this is so that you could have a clear vision of what your business is doing. So if I go to 2021 and I look at now, I'm going to go back to the information that we just took all the time to pull out all the different services that we're going to offer. Now, this is what Fortune 500 companies have. I'm bringing technology to the notary industry that businesses see on a regular basis. And Michael, you'll understand this because you're coming from that background too. So I'm excited to share this with you that now you can actually see the different types of categories that we have. So here are Jane's types of work and the services that she offers in her loan signing avenue, also in her specialty avenue, and then also in her other types of work. So now she can see, I think I did work with my apostilles. Yeah, here we go. So Jane did 5 apostilles for the total amount of $675. She drove 734 miles to provide those 5 apostilles because she had to drive to the Secretary of State's office. Her expenses, now this is not a complete representation, but she had to pay some money out for providing this service. Now, this expenses is divided between not only paying the Secretary of State, but also paying parking.
Mhm.
And then that gives her an idea of how much profit did she make and how much is she averaging for each appointment that she does. So it gives her the ability to see if her fee schedule is keeping up with what her goals are for her business. So now she has the ability to see how much does it cost me to provide this type of service. And
Yeah, and
across
so
each
it's so
appointment.
wonderful to have this data right at your fingertips because you can say to yourself, these apostilles are really very lucrative.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can afford to adjust fees if necessary because they are so lucrative, or maybe I'm not going to invest as heavily in doing some of the other notary work. I'm going to emphasize my apostille work to get more of that,
Exactly.
drive profitability up. It's a great tool, and you're right, Sue. It's right at your fingertips. This is something that the controller or CFO of a big company has at their fingertips typically, and now we can, as business owners, do this just on our own with the system.
Exactly. Exactly. And we actually have a trend chart too, which with this is what I was talking about, being able to
Mm-hmm,
see what's working and
mm-hmm,
what's not. So here's the key down at the bottom, and it's showing this is actually showing that the refinances went down and then they went up. And then so being able to see what revenue stream is working best for Jane, and she
mm-hmm.
can take out the ones that are non-applicable. So for
Sure.
example, these two are not, those two revenue streams weren't part of her loan signing. We have to shuffle them. But
Mm-hmm,
we can turn them off and we can see which ones are picking up and which ones aren't. So
mm-hmm,
now you can take this information and use it as a marketing tool for your escrow officers. I've closed 300 refinances in the last 2 years. I've closed 400 reverse mortgages. I can help
yeah, great
you
point.
I can help you get out of the office sooner because when you call me, I'm going to get it done for you. I'm going to
Mm-hmm,
wait for those documents, even if it's at the end of the month and you're waiting till 5 to get them
mm-hmm.
out. I'm not going to take another appointment, even though it's the end of the month, because I'm going to close
Right.
your deal. These are
Mm-hmm,
ways that you can show your loan officer that you're there for them. And it's much easier to generate and build a rapport with those escrow officers when you're working with them, not just asking them for money or
mm-hmm,
asking them for work. So that's a great way for you to kind of grab their attention with some pretty graphs, but it also
mm-hmm,
shows exactly how much work and how much experience you've got. And
mm-hmm.
so over time, your graphs are going to grow and seeing year over year over year, it's so exciting. So even
Yeah.
month after month, month over month, you're going
Mm-hmm,
to see, oh gosh, this is what it was in January, February, March. This is what my next quarter looks like, and this is what third quarter looks like. So
and
something
you've
exciting to share.
populated this with just sample data, so we don't have
Correct.
clear trends necessarily emerging from this, but anybody who's entering actual information from their signings is going to see more clearly trends, I think, that are developing around the work that they're doing.
100%, 100%
Hmm.
correct. So, but
Hmm.
this is just to give you a demo purpose, just to give you an idea of what it will look like as
Yep,
you put your data in.
very
Yep.
good.
So we're now that we're all set up and it's time to start doing our data entry. I mean, how do
Hmm.
I do this, Sue? We're going to start with something very simple. Expenses. So if you navigate down, this is how you get through Notary Assist. You're kind of able to just scroll up and down. Expenses. The first thing you're going to have in any business is expenses. We always spend more before we gain. So let's
Hmm.
start with expenses because when you're brand new, you might not have as many appointments, but you'll definitely have expenses. So we can view our expenses. So Jane's got some basic expenses in here. And you can actually, what's nice about Notary Assist is you can actually allocate and search all of these by, let's see, there's so much, but I want to clear this out. I just want to see how much am I spending in insurance. So now Jane can filter on how much has she paid AAA for her car insurance. And it tells you right up here. It's going to tell you how much you've totally spent in that
Mm-hmm.
particular year. Now, this is her current year. This is for 2023, but you can imagine this would be for any year. This is how it breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go back to all categories. So now you can see all of your information all at
Mm-hmm.
once. So now it shows you what she spent year to date for 2023. Now, I recommend that you also not only add each expense one at a time, but you can also add recurring expenses. And recurring expenses are those ones like insurance that you're going to get every single month, or maybe your phone bill, because these are things that can build up over time. If you know that you're going to be entering in your AT&T bill every single month and that your AT&T bill is approximately $100, you can set it up so that Notary Assist will automatically drop in an expense on the 10th of every month until you tell it to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And your phone bill might be $100 one month, but it might only be $99 the month after. Well, it's way easier to go in and edit one expense for the amount versus having to type in all the data about each individual expense. So the more you can put in as a recurring expense, now we're not pulling money out of any account. We're just recording the fact that you had this expense this day. So you can put this information in and have Notary Assist keep up and then just reconcile at the end of each month. It's
Mm-hmm.
much faster. So you can set up a car payment and then you can schedule it to expire when you've paid off that loan. It's very
Mm-hmm.
easy. You just add your recurring expense. It's going to ask you a couple of questions. Do you want this to go forever? And if you don't want it to go forever, you only want it to go for 5 years, you put in the date that you want it to start, the date you want it to stop. You
Mm-hmm.
pick the category of the expense. You can even assign it to a type of work. So let's say you bought, you're doing something specific for a type of work. So if you do reverse mortgages and you work with a senior population, you might spend extra money on specific weighted pens or readers or like special micro, like I'm trying to magnifying glasses that are
Mm-hmm.
easier for your clients to see where they need to
Mm-hmm.
sign, or you might invest in that. So anything that is assigned to a type of work, you can actually assign it to that specialty. So now
Nice.
Notary Assist is going to keep track of how much it costs you each year to provide
Mm-hmm.
that service. So if it's costing you more to keep a stock of special pens or magnifying
Mm-hmm.
glasses, you can be prepared for it or adjust your fee schedule as needed. So you have the
Great.
ability to really kind of touch base on those types of expenses. You can add a new expense from the menu bar, or you can add it from inside the view expenses. So if you go to view expenses, you can add it from right in here too.
Mm-hmm.
So we give you lots of different ways to get to the same data points. The same information is going to be displayed on the, that was expenses. I want you to come into extra mileage. Extra mileage is if you're driving somewhere outside of an appointment. This would be if you're going to file your oath of office, for example. Jane doesn't have any for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Let's go to 2021. That's when she's busy. Nope, she didn't do that either. But
Oh.
if you're going to file your oath of office, if you're going to a networking event, if you're going to anything that's like a class, if you're driving to
Mm-hmm.
something, those are business miles as well. They're also business miles when you go to Office Depot to buy more toner for your
Sure.
printer.
But
So
what you're saying is they don't show up because as a result of a specific job that's in your calendar.
correct,
Okay.
correct. So you
Okay.
might want to
Very good.
record them here.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other things that we're going to do is in a signing. When you book a signing, you can go to
Mm-hmm.
your view signings page, and I'm going to go to 2021 because that's what we've been doing the most of. There's more of Jane's information. So
Mm-hmm.
in view signings, we can add a new appointment. That's an appointment that we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see how many signings we've done in that particular time, what our income is, what's outstanding, and what our total income is for this year. So we're on
Mm-hmm.
2021. That's 2021's information. Anything that's unpaid is not marked paid. It's in red. You can see the ones
Mhm.
that are in red. Those are unpaid. And in signings, when we're doing loan signing work, sometimes you are without getting paid. You might have done the appointment, but you might not get paid for 30 to 45 days after. So
Sure.
it depends on when escrow closes. So this will help you keep track of what's not been paid, and you can filter on unpaid very quickly. So now you can get rid of all the fluff, all the noise. And if you're reconciling, you can quickly find who hasn't paid you. So you can either generate an additional invoice if you need to, or you can prompt a phone call, or that it's not past their terms
Mhm.
yet. So we're not going to worry about
Okay.
interrupting them yet. We give you 45, 30, 45, 60, and 90 days past due or past the date that you signed the documents
And
so that
all these are from 2021, so they're all going to show up as
right,
right.
right. Yep,
Can we pause for just a second? Because a couple of things, Sue. I think we're going to run short on
yep,
time
yep.
because we've been talking for quite a while, and I'm just concerned that it's going on a little
Too
long.
long? Yep.
Yeah, but here's what I'd like to do. This is a very important feature, right,
Yes,
for notaries to track their receivables. So what
correct.
I'd like to do is when we close from this little break, what I'm going to do is just give you a quick comment and
Yep.
then really quickly just show us how notaries can track their open receivables.
Okay.
And so let's just focus on this. And Alana, what I'm thinking is we could even take a little snippet video, 30 seconds, and we can put that on Facebook. And that'll generate some interest, right? And we can link it to the video on YouTube or on the website. But so let me just start, and then just as quickly and easily as you can, let's just show from the screen where you're talking about all your billings. There you go. To hey, one of the I'll tee it up. So,
Got it.
Sue, you're showing us this screen that talks about all the revenue that notaries have earned. One of the big concern for our students are how do you know what has already been billed but not yet paid? Who do you follow up with? How do we determine that easily with this software?
So Notary Assist will give you the ability to track every appointment. So these powerful filters are here at the top of the screen. If you click on here, we give you the ability to filter on everything that's unpaid. So if you notice that the screen just changed and Jane has 13 outstanding appointments, totaling this amount. So we can actually even filter even further to how many are 90 days past due, 60 days past due, 45, and 30. So this way you can actually follow up with anybody that might have been 60 days out and why has that not been paid yet. Also, we can help you if it's only been a partial payment. Maybe for some reason there was an error or they didn't give you your full payment amount and you still have to follow up with them. So you can record what you have received, but you still have something outstanding. So we help
Perfect. So
you
they know
keep
exactly who to
everything.
follow up with and what they need to follow up with that person about. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yep.
Mhm. Okay.
Very quickly you can filter. And you can even
Wonderful.
filter on all types of work. Again, you can filter on do I need a purchase, or let's say somebody called and asked about a signing that you did 2 weeks ago. I need to find out who the escrow company was on this particular thing.
Hmm.
You can filter by the type of work or even the customer. So if you
Okay.
know that you did it for Amrock, you can actually look up Amrock and it'll just show you all the work for Amrock and you can see what's been paid, what hasn't been paid. When you actually get paid, you can even apply all your payments. You might get one payment, but instead of going into each single one individually and marking it paid, you can actually apply a batch payment so that you can basically record that you got the check for 1, 2, 3, and 4 signings all at one time and apply the amount and the date that you got paid so that you're not doing multiple individual payments.
So
You can
as your
even do a
checks come
batch
in, you
invoice.
open the app and you reflect what you've been paid
Correct.
per job. Okay, wonderful.
Hmm. Yep.
Could you take us over to show us and just as an aside, I think might be another area that we could cut a little bit of a snippet out for Facebook
Okay.
because what people are going to want to know is I get a job. How do I enter the job? Right.
Yep.
And we've gone through this implementation process. It's how easy is it, right, to enter the job
Yep.
and
So
have everything. It sounds to me like everything flows from that simple process, right?
So let me show you two different things, and I'll try
Okay.
and do it really quickly because this
Okay.
import right button right here is our also new feature. So if you
Okay.
forward a confirmation email
Mm-hmm.
from like Amrock, for example, if they send you a confirmation email and if the notary can then forward it to Notary Assist, it'll actually pend right here and then it'll
Okay.
automatically add the appointment for you. But I'll start with adding a signing
Okay, so
and
let
the
me
two
let me
different
tee that
ways.
up. So
Yep.
and then Alana will start up our recording here. So
Okay.
um
Perfect.
Sue, you've done a great job explaining how the system works in terms of setting up this system. It sounds like it's not only just tremendously flexible, but actually really easy and intuitive to just set up the system. I mean, I'm not a technology expert by any means, but it sounds like just watching you do this, it would be very easy to go in and know what choices to make and what adjustments to make as you work with the system. So I think our students would really love to see once you've gone through this process of getting implemented, a couple of hours of work, it sounds like, at most to get this all set up. How do they deal with new signings and how does that get calendared and put in the system?
Well, I told you that I'm a calendar girl. So,
Yeah,
but there's
yeah,
lots of
yeah.
different ways to add signings. So we give you actually two different ways and actually three ways to get into adding a signing. So from the signings menu, you can actually add a new signing from right here. So the left menu bar, if you're a left menu bar kind of person, you can add a new signing right from here. So
Mhm,
this gets you into the enter signing box. But wait, we have another one. If you're already in the view signings page, you can add it from right here, same
mhm,
box.
mhm,
But also, if you're a calendar girl like me, you can hop on the calendar and you can just click on whatever day it is, and it's going to pull up the
mm,
same information. So, because everybody works a little differently, we try to give as many options as possible. So, when you're in the edit signing page, you can select what type of work it is. This is that drop down that we built out from our business profile. So,
mhm,
if you're doing a purchase, for example, and
mhm.
it's on the 10th of October, or I'm sorry, the 11th of October at 5 p.m. Notary Assist is trying to autofill this for you if you're using the calendar, which I love, which is my favorite
Mhm.
feature. But let's
Yeah,
say
I
it's
have to
not
say
5
that's
o'clock.
exactly what I would do because
Yep,
the first thing you're
exactly.
doing is confirming whether or not you're available during the
Exactly.
time, right? And so you're already in the calendar. Might as well just open it up and get it scheduled, right? So,
Exactly. So
mhm,
I'm just grabbing, I know that it's not 5 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock. I can actually put a duration in there. I think this purchase will actually take me an hour, not two.
mhm,
I'm getting paid $75 for this particular appointment. My customer is Amrock. I'm selecting my customer, but let's say it's a customer that I haven't added before. I can add a new customer right here at the top without leaving
mhm,
this screen. That makes it exceedingly helpful. If I have a customer or a couple of different escrow officers I might be working with
mhm,
at any particular company, so I can pick up that particular escrow officer. I can add my order number. I can add my loan number if applicable. All I
mhm.
need to do in order to schedule and set it into my calendar is the signer's last name. But Sue, I just said yes to Amrock on the phone. I don't know the signer's last name because they haven't emailed me yet. TBD.
Mhm,
Or you can even say Amrock, right?
mhm.
Because now you know that you've already accepted something from Amrock at 7 o'clock on Thursday. Does that
Mhm.
Thursday? Maybe it's Wednesday.
Well, we don't. It doesn't.
Right. Okay.
That'd be
So
Wednesday. Oh, that's tomorrow.
that's tomorrow.
That's Wednesday. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So,
All right. Perfect.
exactly. So now you go in, and then we do ask one other question. Is this a Ron appointment? Because if it's a Ron appointment, you may not be going anywhere. So if it is
Mhm.
a Ron appointment, you can easily just toggle on yes. Look, the address goes away because you're not going anywhere. You're doing it online.
Got it.
So if
Okay.
you are going somewhere, you leave it as no, and you just start typing. Again, we're interactive,
Mhm.
or we're integrated with Google. So if you start typing, it's going to try and find a location that's close to you where you're registered.
Mhm.
And so Jane's going to pick this one in Irvine, California. And all
Mhm.
you have to do is click it from the drop down box. It's auto populating it for you, reducing
Nice.
the amount of
Good
error.
time saver.
Yeah, and a huge time saver. And then is there a contact? So my second contact, this might be the signer's phone number.
Mhm.
And then this is the co-signer. Like maybe this is
Mhm.
the partner or a wife or
Right.
significant other or brother who's signing the documents. You can add their information right here. Very simple, very straightforward. Tracking. How many documents do I have to address at this particular appointment?
Mhm.
Now, when you're doing a loan signing, it could be like 400 pages, right? But we're not necessarily
Sure.
looking for 400 pages. What we're looking for is how many documents required notary attention. So you
Mhm.
might have only had to notarize 10 at this purchase. And how many notarial acts did I perform? I performed 20 because both of these people signed 20 or I notarized them on 10 different pages. What was my notary fee? My notary fee for this particular appointment. Now, this is the manual. This is in a manual setting. If it was an automatic state, this would just ask how many notarial acts I performed. But
So if
because
we'd
this
gone
is in,
through and identified that in our setup, it would have filled
yep,
in here. So that's
this is the
perfect.
difference between the two. Exactly. So this one's in manual mode. And so notary, she's just basically saying for in this, I'm just using this as an example.
Mhm.
My notarial fee was $200, and that's my
Mhm.
notarial value, not what I'm being paid. Remember, Amrock's
Right.
paying me $75, but my notarial value is 200 because I'm using a $10 conversion because I can't multiply by 15 on the
Mhm.
fly. Tracking number, if I have a tracking number to send the documents back, Notary Assists on their mobile app, you can actually scan the barcode. It will automatically populate this in for you. So you don't have to
Mhm.
do the 1Z, 7T for UPS or anything. Sent via, you can tell how you did it. Did you do it
Nice.
via FedEx, UPS? And what day did I send it out on? I'm sending it out on the 12th because I'm not going to get this done before my pickup time.
Mhm.
And then once I hit save, notes is always available too if you needed to put anything in there. This is not going to go on an invoice. This is just for you to remember something from the
Mhm.
appointment. Once you hit save, it's going to
Somebody gives
populate
you a
in.
gate code or
Yep,
tells you, don't worry about the dog Bruno. That's
exactly. He's
going to show up
friendly.
at the door. Yeah. Okay.
And once you hit save, now see how I didn't have the signer's last name, but I know I wanted to block it out so
Mhm.
that I wouldn't accidentally double book myself. But here it is. But then I just got the email and now I can come back in and I know it's for Jones. So now I can just remove this Jones. And some people like to put Amrock in here. So they know that
Sure.
it's an Amrock signing. So it's whatever works for you. Now you
Mhm.
can update the signing from here, hit save. So
Okay.
now it updates in the calendar and it will push to your Google Calendar as well. So it's very quick. And if you go into your view signings page, you're going to
Mhm.
see Jones is in there as well. What if I have a question and I have to add something back to my different spots? I just want to come in here.
Mhm.
You can come in
So
and make any edits after the fact.
lots of ways to access that same information. That's great.
Yep. And then here's the mileage automatically populated. See, I had that on auto populate, so I didn't even have to go
Nice.
into the mileage. It's already here.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Useful
And
for
then
travel time calculation, I would think. So,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
very nice.
Now, with our
So, Sue,
new,
I'm sorry, you
go
were going to
ahead.
show us another feature about how this could come in directly from email and save you a
Correct.
little bit of time. Is that right?
Yep. And so that's the import feature. So if you look up here, our import
Okay.
is right here. And right now, Jane doesn't have anything pending, but It's been launched now for about a month. And what you can do, so when you get a confirmation email
Mhm.
from Amrock or TMOS Title or any escrow company, it's usually forwarded to you in an email. So now you can take, pardon me, you can take that email, you can hit forward, forward that email to import@notaryassist.com.
Mhm.
And from the email address that you use to log in with. So that's the key. You have to send it from the email address that you're logging in with. If you choose a different email address, then we've got to fix that when you log in.
Uh-huh.
But you can forward that. It will pend right here. Notary Assist's engine and algorithms will do its best to pull out all of the pertinent information. It will then stage here in this little bubble. It'll tell you how many are pending, and it'll be here displayed on this screen. It'll have a little data points, and
Mhm.
it'll say 7 o'clock, 10/11/2023, Jones signing, blah, blah, blah. And it'll show you the location of it. And you hit accept or decline. You have one
Mhm.
option to accept or decline. When you hit accept, it will automatically populate in the information for you. Now, you
Mhm.
might have to tweak a couple things, like you might not know that it's a purchase, so you might have to add that it was a purchase. You might have
Mhm.
to add the order number, but if we can, we'll pull it out. We might have to add a couple of things, but for the most part, it'll already be
It's
added for you.
it's
So
saving
you don't
you
even
all
have to
that
do
data entry. That's wonderful.
exactly.
Okay.
Quote unquote, it saves days worth of work, not
Okay.
from me, but from users.
All right. So let's suppose we finished one of these signings, Sue,
Yep.
and now you're back in your office and you're boxing up the documents to send them in and you want
Yep.
to issue an invoice. What does the notary do at that
Fantastic.
point?
So they come back in
Mhm.
and they're going to click the signer's last name
Okay.
and see how it says invoice right down here. So you're going to come
Yes.
right down here and it's going to actually pull up a description of what you had. So now it
Hmm.
needs to go to Amrock. What's really handy is in Amrock, you might not need to send Derek, who's been your escrow officer this whole time. You don't need to invoice Derek, but you need to invoice accounting. So now we have the accounting's email address. So we're not going to send our invoice to Derek. We're actually going to send it to accounting.
Hmm.
We can add a line item if we need to. Like, let's say there's a
Hmm.
print fee that you guys negotiated. So
Hmm.
if you needed a print fee, you can add the date for that particular transaction. I'm just going to do it for here right now. And we're just going to say print fee. You can add these things. And let's say the
Hmm.
print fee was $10 because you had to print something extra. Now
Hmm.
it's now $75. It's $85.
Hmm.
And you can say thank you for your business. It will update everything in the account. You can either save it to your local machine, you
Hmm.
can email it directly from inside of Notary Assist, or you can save it as a PDF to attach later, however you want to. And you
Very
can even
nice.
print preview it, so you can actually see what your client is going to get. So all of that information, remember how we set up the template? Now
Yep.
here's where we're pulling it in here. Your logo's up here. This is what we have. We have the order number on here. All the information that was pulled is inside of this invoice, and this is what your recipient is going to get.
Very nice. And then the invoice itself is permanently stored in the system.
Correct.
And we've already seen that lovely tracking of payments, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we can now determine whether someone's paid that invoice or not, and or paid fully or not. That's terrific. What a time saver.
The other little time saver that we have too is this little send email. When
Hmm.
you're creating your appointment, Notary Assist has also launched adding templates. So if you're finding yourself sending the same information out to your confirmed client to
Hmm.
confirm the appointment, you can actually build out a template by adding a template and asking us what these are the fields that you can create. So you can actually, I want to use my last name, customer name, appointment time. I'm the notary that's going to be showing up to do your refinance on
Hmm.
this date at this time. Please make sure you have your ID handy and let me know if there's anything that I need to know to find your location, whether there's a gate code, whether there's a
Hmm.
dog, whether your light, or is there a porch light? Will you please let me know that this is your home? That
Hmm.
kind of stuff. So you can actually create lots of different templates, from a confirmation email and introducing yourself to you, whether you're a Ron platform and what type of Ron
Mhm.
platform you might be utilizing and what the significances are. But you can build a repository and keep emails and then
All
just
those
send them
templates.
all. Yep. And you send it just one
Mhm.
time. So once you build out your template, you can actually just send it to your signer. So now they've actually been introduced to you. They can confirm the appointment with you. And again,
Yep.
you're not typing this email out all the time. You're just doing it
Yeah.
once, or
Over and
you're
over again.
building it once.
Right.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep. Yep.
And
And
yet
then
you can
there's,
still edit that email before it goes. So you're
oh,
always working from the
absolutely.
template. So
Yep.
perfect.
You can work from the template and then customize it as needed,
Hmm.
wishing you a wonderful weekend or whatever. And then we
Great.
haven't even touched on, and I know that we're running low on time. We haven't even touched on the different reports, but I can show you what the reports look like if you have time to grab a
Yeah,
couple of
let's look at
reports.
quickly some of the reports. And
Okay.
Alana, let's not mark this spot. We'll kind of jump from the last
Okay.
section into the reports.
So I've pulled up the most popular ones that they're going to need for
Hmm.
tax time. So
Okay.
income report is always important. We want to know how
Hmm.
much income we've made, and it's broken down by customer. It's broken down by who paid you. So this way you can help reconcile your 1099s at the end of the
Hmm.
year, which makes it very handy. You can, by looking at your reports, you can see who's going to be sending me one. Like Amrock's going to be
Hmm.
sending me one, or most likely going to be sending me one because I had $800 worth of revenue from them. You can actually get through each reporting, each report the same way. So you can actually page through each one. This has got 5 pages. It's broken down by income. You can save it as a PDF. You can also export it as an XLS. So there's lots of different ways that you can utilize this
Hmm.
data. We give you the ability to put it in something that's not just two-dimensional. You can actually edit it if you need to at your local level. So you can print it as well. Um, we have a mileage report. The mileage report is going to look like a mileage log. In the mileage report, we also grab any extra mileage that you've entered in
Hmm.
addition to all the signing mileage. So this is a combination of your signing appointments plus any extra mileage that you've added from different trips that you might have done for networking, um, doing your oath of office or anything like that. Again,
So
you
Sue,
page through
I
it.
have a personal question for you.
Okay.
You started off explaining that initially your husband was also your bookkeeper slash accountant.
Yes.
Does he just love these reports, or
Oh
is he
my God.
even
Yeah.
your accountant anymore?
He's not my accountant anymore.
Well,
He's,
your new
I
accountant
mean,
is benefiting from these reports then.
oh yes, he is. I mean, like it's so easy. I mean, and we break it down with your schedule C. I mean, it's like, and we
Yeah.
total, if you look at the last page, so I always click to the last page. We do the calculation based on the IRS mileage rate, the current IRS
Hmm.
mileage rate automatically for you so that you can see how many miles you drove and then what's that exemption if or
Nice.
if you're doing that. So we try to make it so straightforward. It's not even funny.
Hmm.
It's so
And
true.
for
Yeah.
those of us who do our own taxes, you have these categories set up. You have all of the data you need instantly to just fill out your um, tax software, whatever that is, and
Exactly. If you
submit
want to
it.
do it
Oh,
yourself, there's
perfect.
Intuit, there's TurboTax, there's
Hmm.
H&R Block. I mean, what we're
Yeah.
giving you is the total calculations and everything right here
Hmm.
so that it's right at your fingertips. Expense
Wonderful.
report is going to be broken down by each category. So you're going to be able to see how much was my automobile expense, and this was my car payment, for example. How much was
Hmm.
my insurance? It was, and it gives you a total for each specific category. The last page of every report gives the total. So your
Nice.
total expenses are all there added together, but they're all separated out by
Hmm.
category. So
Hmm.
which really makes your tax professional very happy.
How
The
many
biggest
reports do you have available to users?
one, two, three, four, eight,
Eight
eight.
separate reports.
Yep.
So
Yep.
virtually
And we're
anything that they
constantly
would need
adding.
to evaluate
Yep.
where their money is coming from and where it's going to.
Profit and loss. The only thing we don't have right now is a balance sheet. We've been asked about that before, but because we're not reconciling, we're ending our business year, we're doing basic accounting here. We
Mhm.
don't have a full balance sheet. And that's, I don't know if that's coming this year or not. We're looking into it, but right now it's real basic, real straightforward.
Mhm. Well,
The
you have
biggest
the
one,
data instantly available
yeah,
to be able to build a balance sheet if you wanted to.
exactly.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where,
Hmm.
those that need it have the information that they need to create it. Those
Hmm.
that don't need it, it can sometimes be overwhelming. So
You're right.
the
Hmm.
biggest one for notaries, then this is where we are unique as well, is we build a tax report specifically for that self-employment tax exemption that notaries are eligible for. Now, I
Hmm.
am not a tax professional. I am not I'm not an attorney, but we are special and we do get a special deduction if we wish to exercise it. So Notary Assist
Hmm.
on the tax report shows you in detail the number of documents, like we were saying, in that we ask you for, is the number of documents that you addressed at that particular signing. Now, like we were saying, in a loan packet, you might print 300 pages and you only address, like you have the
Hmm.
signer sign every page, but as the notary, you're only physically putting notarial verbiage onto maybe 5, right?
Hmm.
But I might have had 2 signers. So for me, in the state of California, for this example, I had 5 documents, 2 signers, 10 number of signatures was 10 times 15. And that's how that works. So
Hmm.
I'm doing all this
And
math based
and
on
just
California.
a reminder to listeners is that there are typically notorious, and again, to your point, we're not tax professionals, but the way it works is that income that's directly attributed to notarial fees is exempt. All right. It's exempt in a different
Correct.
way than business expenses are exempt. And so
Completely
tracking
different.
these is very important. I would
Exactly.
make the point that how much is your monthly fee, Sue,
We
for
are $8.99 a month
eight
or
dollars and ninety nine
$95 for the
cents
year.
a month? I will guarantee that anybody doing more than, well, I have to be careful with that word guarantee. Somebody will be coming back and go, here's my calculation. But the fact is, if you are doing more than 2 or 3 signings a month,
Yes.
that notarial exemption and the calculation of that notarial exemption made possible through this software is going to more than cover the fee
Oh, for sure.
for
For
you.
sure. And I always say the best thing to do is sit down with a tax professional or a business,
Mhm.
to let them know. First of all, you might be letting them know about an exemption that they don't see all the time. There's only 3
Yep.
people that get to utilize this exemption, and it's notaries, farmers, and clergy. So it's
Oh.
not utilized all the time. So not every tax professional is even aware of this exemption that we're
Mhm.
eligible to exercise. So being able to have a conversation with your tax
Mhm.
professional is huge, and
Huge.
determining if it's in your best interest to exercise this exemption. Because what does this exemption do? We're still paying tax on every single dollar that we make. Let me make that very clear. We are
Mhm.
not exempting really anything. What we're doing is we're letting the government know this is how much we've made. What we do get to do, because that's income tax, there's a separate tax when we work for ourselves called self-employment tax. The
Mhm.
self-employment tax is the portion that we can exercise our exemption should we wish to. So if you're looking to buy a big purchase like a home or a car and you're trying to qualify for a loan, you might not want to exercise this exemption because we're reducing your taxable income, which means you would qualify for less. So you just want to make sure that you communicate with your tax professional to build a plan that works for you. So
Mhm.
one year you might claim your exemption, but the next year you might not because you're trying to qualify for more money for that particular purchase. So there's a whole lot of layers to this onion. That's why the tax professional is best to guide you for your goals.
But either way, the data is sitting right here for us all to see
Exactly.
and
We just give you
share with
everything
us.
so it's nice and easy to see what you could be
Mhm.
saving if you're eligible, if that's something that you're working towards.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
have we missed? I know that we've gone through this as quickly as we could, but have we
Right.
missed anything super critical that?
Super critical. I don't think so. The
Okay.
funny thing is I mean, customers, this is anybody who pays you.
Hmm.
And you can build out a repository of all of your companies that you work for, whether it's a title company or the general public. This becomes a database for you to stay connected with.
Hmm.
Um, and you can build that out, and it's pretty straightforward. The nice thing that we really pride ourselves on is that we tried to make this as straightforward and helpful and honest as possible. Something that's super awesome for you guys would be underneath our tools. We have a rescission calendar. It's a nice little widget that we have, and it shows today's date, and then it'll show you the rescission date.
Oh, I love
So if
that.
for some reason your brain just won't work at the signing table, I mean, we all know
Hmm.
how to count 3 days, but you know what? It's sometimes we just can't process at the end of the
Hmm.
day. So if you actually just select the day in the calendar, it will show you the rescission date down below. And this is available on both our mobile apps and online. It's just a
Nice.
great little tool. We use the NNA's rescission calendar. I know from time to time there's a couple of unique days in the calendar. So I always tell people to refer to whoever's sending them out over the holiday weekend to make sure that they count properly. But for the
Mhm.
most part, the NNA seems like a pretty good bet to go with. So that's who we
Huh.
utilize for our rescission calendar. But that
Nice.
one's kind of handy. That one I always like to try and show
A
because
nice
it's
little
cool.
feature, an
Yeah.
add-on. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last thing is our updates. Every time we push an update, we try to inform users what the update is and
Hmm.
how to utilize it or to see more. So if they've missed something or if they're not sure what we've updated, we try to put it in the updates.
Okay. Perfect.
And that's pretty much it for, I mean, I can always go on, I can come back, do a deep dive if there's questions. Like if we wanted
Hmm.
to talk about how to utilize the import feature and streamline my workflow, I could come in and
Hmm.
do a streamlining your workflow for anybody that's using Notary Assist and just say, okay, step one, do this, step two, do this, step three, do that, step four, do this, and then five, you confirm it, it's in your email, and now it's in your Notary Assist and you're done.
Yeah. I think and just sort of breaking here, Alana, the what I want to do is pick out two or three segments rather than going deeper, Sue, is I want
Yeah,
to kind of just highlight some of the
pardon me.
really cool stuff that we can get into like 60 seconds or 90
Yeah,
seconds and get it on
absolutely.
social media,
Yep.
because I think that'll draw people's attention. Um,
Absolutely. I love that.
and yeah, and I think we've got a couple little segments of that that would be good to draw people into the whole interview and our roundtable and so forth. So,
Oh, agreed.
and
Totally.
then ultimately the link to enroll with you.
Yeah,
Right? That's what we're
absolutely.
trying to
I
do.
can do a small little, like if somebody has a question on the
Hmm.
roundtable, I can queue it up and show a specific thing. That's usually
Hmm.
better in a roundtable situation, like when they ask,
Hmm.
hey, but what we have to be careful of, and I've done this long enough to know that I'll get a very unique situation that they'll
Yeah.
ask specifically about. And that one's almost
Hmm.
easier for me to take offline and deal directly
Yeah.
with them outside of a group situation.
Yeah. What I really want to do is tell people we have a very in-depth demo. We'd like you to watch this demo if you have specific questions about the software. Our goal on the roundtable is really about all of the things that as a notary you have to make sure you're monitoring and managing, right? How
Absolutely.
and organizing, right? And I think
Yep.
though that, we'll be able to endorse you by saying, the system allows us to do all this. Here's why it's important that you should track your mileage, right?
Right.
Here's why you should be tracking your notarial acts and the things that you're doing. I think that's very important. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I can help any way I can. I mean,
we
whew,
with those.
I knew it wasn't going to be 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I know we went a
No,
lot
it's
longer.
okay. It's fine. I will say the roundtable, we're very strict about
Oh,
limiting
yeah.
to 30 minutes
Not a
because
problem.
my
Well,
attitude with this is
I'm not demoing, am I, on the round
no,
table? I'm
no,
just
it's just a
chatting. Oh, yeah.
discussion.
Perfect.
It's just a discussion. And,
Bonus.
any anecdotes or stories you'd like to share, those are great.
Perfect.
Alana's going to send out the PowerPoint. You'll have a place to make notes. You'll be able to see our notes
Okay.
on it. And it's just meant to kind of, we don't want to go too long because I want to get people focused on it's only a 30-minute investment. Just come on, attend, get something out of it, and then you can move on with your life. We don't
Absolutely.
have 2 hours a
Absolutely.
week, to spend on something like this. So why don't we close, Alana? Before we do that, though, do any questions or any things that you think we need clarification on?
That
Um,
was a lot of information. I just totally threw up all over you. I'm sorry. She's like, oh my.
No, I think we're good. I think we just need to say something about the referral link, like something, like check our description for the referral
Okay.
link, what that does.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
And if you have any questions as a follow-up, I'm assuming Sue, you don't mind
Not at
getting
all.
any
Any questions
questions
you might have, if you have need clarification on
Mhm.
something, I'm happy to help any way I can.
And then you'll just need to make note of Leon, and we can talk about this about how to share this video with him and know where to make the cuts. He's pretty
Okay.
perceptive about some of this stuff, so I think he
When
can.
my dogs are barking like crazy.
Oh,
Or
well,
yeah, or I'm showing you all my emails
yeah,
that I have.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sue, thank you so much for going into depth with your program, and oh my gosh, we're just so in awe of what you created.
Oh, well,
It's
thank you.
fantastic to see,
Well,
and
a lot.
we
Oh
also
my gosh, so many new things came out just this year. So I mean, I'm almost like demoing. I feel like I'm demoing again. Like I have to
wow.
almost go back to when people say, "Can you do this in like 15 minutes?" I'm like, "Nope."
And we're just so excited about everything that you bring to the table, and I love your story, your journey, and also the enthusiasm that you have for Notary Assist. It's wonderful to see. Kudos to you. And we have you've also given us and our students an opportunity to try out the system, as you talked about at the very beginning. We get 30 days or how many
30
transactions
days or 20 new appointments, whichever comes first. No
first.
credit cards required. No, you have full access to the entire software system. You don't feel like you have to hit the red subscribe now button until you're ready to start paying. That means I'm ready to pay. So you have full access to all features. You can the information that you put into Notary Assist will be there at the end of the trial too. You don't have to re-enter anything. I'm trying to think of the questions that I get for the trial. But yeah, you and feel free to reach out to Notary Assist at 949-713-3570. That is our tech support number. And if you have questions while you're in the trial session, just give us a call. We'll clarify that
Mhm.
for you and help you get on your way and get set up.
Yeah, and Notary2Pro fans and students, we just ask that you click the link that takes you to Notary Assist for that wonderful benefit. And it should be
Absolutely.
posted right here on this page. So contact us if you don't see it or if you need additional assistance. And Alana, thank you so much for organizing our call today. And
Thank you,
Sue,
Michael, for having me. Oh my gosh. And Alana, it's so nice to meet you.
yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, we'll talk to you Thursday.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.